Hey, it's Mac with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and it is Tuesday. It is July 27th. This will be our chart lesson for today. And I've been thinking it was Wednesday all day long, and just figured out it was Tuesday a few minutes ago. So it's been that kind of week for me. I've been super busy with some personal stuff I got going on, so I apologize that, especially for the quick lesson yesterday. But I kind of like the quick lessons, and a few people made comments to me that they actually enjoyed the quicker lessons. So anyway, some people like them quick, some people like me to go into more detail. So it really depends on, it's different for everybody. But you can clearly see we're in a downtrend today. Two-tiered channel working down. We bounced out of here. I'd say we probably ended this downtrend just around lunchtime, my time, Central Standard Time, and we routed out of there, and then uh, you would expect prices to retest this low. They didn't today, so whether or not they will in the overnight, we'll just have to see. And tomorrow will be another day, so we'll see what happens tomorrow. But it's all downhill through lunchtime, and then there really wasn't a lot of. There's a few trades here, and you could really trade this both directions all the way down because we're clearly consistently above and below the EMA. Once we got down here, um, I still marked a few longs, but and we're still swinging above and below the EMA. So really, even though this is a downtrend, it's not a real strong one, and you can clearly see there's some very nice rallies that rally up and through and above the EMA. So when you see that, you can usually trade it both ways. Of course, the bias is still down, so you're better off to stick with the short trades. But there will be sometimes some really strong rallies off of these lows and stuff. So we didn't really get any real strong rallies here. I mean, there's some quick pushes up, but they peter out pretty quickly. So until this last one. So keep that in mind. But let's zoom in here, go through the trades. There's a few more of them today, and wrap this day up. So 7 o'clock came just as we're pushing up to this new high, and then we make this lower high. With that being so far away from the EMA, you can almost guarantee you're going to probably can get a scalp out of that. You could look at this as a failure, but it's on the wrong side of the EMA, and that was a fairly strong move up. So after two legs down, you could get trapped right there. So I'm not crazy about taking that failure because it's on the wrong side. However, if you just wait a minute, it pushes on down and pulls back and touches and tests the EMA and then breaks lower. So if you look at that, that really looks like one leg and then a first entry and then a second leg down, and then that looks like your failed second entry long, and it would be on probably a little bit bigger chart. So I like possibly going short right there on that. It's a little more advanced. You'd have to be a good chart reader to see all that. But if you see that, you might take that trade, and you could look at it as a lower high too, but generally your lower high is going to be closer to this high right here. That's what you're going to be looking for. But there is a double top, so you could look at this as a new high, and so this is another lower high off of this new high here. So just a couple of different ways to look at it. It's like I said, it's a little more advanced, so if you didn't see it, no big deal. But we run on down, and then you get two legs back to the EMA, so a nice second entry short right here. Just go short below that bar. Nice bearish bar. It's a quick, easy move. You get an easy runner on. And you don't get a huge runner there, but I mean, you got the opportunity to get, uh, you know, 5 or 6 points out of that, which is, nothing to sneeze at. So it's not one of the great runners. I mean, if you can catch one of these trades, even this one, you're going to get a runner. So if you can catch that trade, you got something there. And there's a couple more like that too. But I like that second entry short, and then there's another failure there, but it doesn't set up really well. You're going short right into some support across there. But when it comes back and makes this triple test, um, you may take that short right there. But notice you made that high, you test it once, you test it twice. Look how bearish that bar is, and then it actually ticks up again and turns down. I would not wait till here to go short because you see what would have happened to you. But when this came higher and then turned back down and went out the lower side, you might go short on a sell stop right there, or even drop a limit order in and see if it'll back up a few ticks and fill you. And then you might take that trade, but don't wait till way down here, because that's exactly what happens to you. Even though prices are going to end up there before it's over, you get stopped out right there. So we've already got our new low in place. So this kind of acts as a trap, but you got to have room to get out before that low, because if not, this is what happens to you. That's a sure trap to see that big bearish bar and it goes short at the very end of it, and it goes one tick and reverses. I mean, that's a second entry long, basically. I don't think I would go long there, but that's a nice short trap, and you might consider that. If you want to be an aggressive trader and you like to catch those, because if you catch that, you can catch a runner and get another 5 or 6, 7, 8 points right there. Unfortunately, we run up and just start going sideways. You do get a little failed break higher here, but you don't get a setup. And you just don't get a chance to ride this one down. It's a nice move, but nowhere do I see a really good setup there. And you'd actually be looking for prices to come to the low. And so that's why we never really make it back up until we finally do hit the lows here. So prices are having a hard time pushing lower, even though the bias is down and most of the movement is down. But prices are really struggling to go lower here. So this is kind of a neutral downtrend. I don't know how to describe it much different than that, but there's an overall downward bias, but it's just not a very strong one. So, but in the end, there's more selling than there is buying, but there's a lot of buying coming in each time you make prices make a new low, but the buying will dry up real quick and it sells off again. And the buying comes in, dries up and it sells off hard again. The buying comes in, dries up and it sells off again. Buying comes in, kind of peters off there and sells off again. It does that over and over until finally enough buyers start coming in and it rallies some. So that's kind of what's going on there. So let's go back. We talked about this move down. This is not a true reversal right here. It's like a failed breakout, and I don't see anything reason you'd want to go long out of that little channel. Drops on down. There is a reversal here, but I don't like going long into the EMA. It's not a good reversal pattern. It is a failed second entry short. Again, you just don't get anything really good here. A chance to go short, you just start going sideways again, and there's just nothing there. Until finally you push back through this midline. You actually push up and get a first entry, then you push through the EMA, the midline, you pull back and you test that EMA. And that's what a reversal looks like. I like going long one tick above that bar. And the key is you may only go to make a new high here or to test this high, although it's a good chance we could go all the way back up to the trend line again. But prices end up turning back down, and then you do get a good reversal here. Notice that you push through, you get a first entry, then you turn down and you turn back up right there, and you get a second entry long and it fails. I'd go short one tick below that bar, but you could even wait here and go short. And if you catch this one, you probably get a runner, and you can ride this pretty much all the way down. And I mean, that's what a good runner looks like. Let's just say you entered one tick below that. And let's just say you went until you got a break above the first one that closes outside, a break above the bar. That's 8.5 points right there, or 8.25 points. So pretty nice move. But if you might ride this, if you just tried to ride it all the way down until you broke above the EMA, then you get 11.25 points. So that's what a good runner looks like. And of course you get another reversal. You get a close outside, move to a new low. We don't quite get to the trend channel line again. But anyway, you get a first entry short. Notice how it pushed notice how that rocket straight up through the EMS tell hey, some buying came in right there. And then you push up again and pull back and test it. That's what a reversal looks like. And I like going long right there. And believe it or not, most of the buying is dried up, but it's still good for a nice little move before it turns down again. And you do get a failed second entry long here, but it's down here at the lows. It doesn't set up near the EMA, not what we're looking for. And we just work on down. And then it looks like we're going to revert. We finally touched the trend channel, or the trend channel line. And so we may rally out of here now, but we really don't even get back to the midline, and we're turning down again. But we're mostly going sideways here. And you get a little resistance here, and you get a lower high off of this nice bearish bar. I like going short there just to ride it back to the other side. And it's a quick, easy move, so you might even get a runner right there. I mean, that's large enough you could try for a runner, even though it's sideways stuff, especially since it's with the bias. It's a short trade with the trend bias. And you can see there's a 4-point move there, so you might get 2 or 3 points on a runner, or 4 points. It does bounce, doesn't get back to the highs, pushes through, pulls back, and it actually breaks higher and turns down. That's a little breakout pullback short in a down market. So I like that one. It's not, all three of these are a little aggressive, but they're trades you might take. And of course we run down to the lows again. I wouldn't look, there is a higher low right here. And that's twice now we've bounced off the trend channel, so we could bounce out of here now. But I would wait for a better pattern than that. You might have looked at that as a reversal, but that looks like a double bottom in one leg, so it looks like a first entry. So this looks like the second entry short. So the reversal would be when it breaks above that, in my opinion. And we're back below the EMA. But when it makes the higher low on that, I like going long there. And you might have taken that trade, but I think you're better to wait and see, hey, if you get a higher low that's on the other side of the EMA, and you do, and even then it takes it a minute to take off, but once it starts rolling, people realize, yep, we're going higher. And that is probably the move, one of the moves of the day right there, because you're going to get another runner on that one. And if you just ride that up to that first high, that's 11 points. And if you ride it all the way to the high, that's an 18-point move, 18 and a quarter points. So basically that's a 17 and a half, I guess. I'm exaggerating a little there by 2 ticks. So that's a great move right there. And then actually you get another pullback here. It doesn't, by the counts, it's not really a second entry. It's really a first entry, second entry, third entry. But you can clearly see 2 legs back with a little 2-legged correction and a nice signal bar. And you're looking for a retest of the highs and maybe for prices to go back to the trend line. And that's relatively low risk, 5 ticks. And you could really look at that as a triple test. I like going long right there. And quick, easy move up. I would probably look to exit here, but it went right on through. But notice you get a break, 2 legs up, and you try to go higher once, twice, and it fails, and you're still way away from the EMA. That triple test, you're probably coming back to the EMA. As long as you got room there, you may take that one. It's aggressive. But we come back, we're working sideways, and you get a failed break lower, and then you get a higher low, still below. So I like going long just to ride it back. As long as you got room between here and the highs here, I like riding that back up. And then lo and behold, it breaks out, pulls back, and gives you a failed second entry short and another nice bar. And at the very minimum there, I'd look for a measured leg up. You end up getting much more than that, I think, but just at a measured leg, you're looking at that little move up, and before you get the correction, it continues to go higher though. So I like that long right there, and that takes us into 2 o'clock. I don't see anything, or 3 o'clock. I don't see anything else after that. So, so some decent trades here. A few of them with some pretty good moves. We've had a lot of choppiness lately, and even in a downtrend day today, it's a little choppy, and if you're not careful, you can get your stops run. So they just wouldn't let this thing take off. Maybe right here you got a pretty good move, but they just wouldn't let it just drop and take off and trend down. There's a lot of buying. Every time we made a new low, a lot of buying came in. And I showed you that on the way down, but you can see you drop down here and all the buying came in. And you drop down, buying comes in. Drop down. And it did that over and over and over all day. That's basically what it did. The downward bias continued into maybe 12:30, close to 1 o'clock, and then we rallied up out of here after that. So that's what I saw today. And it can be difficult trading this if you get short too close to the lows. And, you know, common sense says wait till prices prove they're going lower, but by the time you see it actually going lower, it's too late. the move is probably almost over and it's going to reverse on you. And that's where most smart people that won't try to be traders, that try to use their common sense, and it will just chop you to pieces. You cannot use common sense in price action. You have to understand price action rules and the typical price action movements, which is what we're trying to teach you here. And if you don't understand that and you use your common sense, you're going to get chopped all to pieces. Because just when you start to get evidence that it's going lower, it rallies out of there, runs all the stops, and then the bottom falls out. So you have to learn to do it backwards. You have to learn to enter when the corrections are ending and go back in with a trend. That's the key to it. And it's not easy to do, but if you understand price action, and there's some basic rules that we use to help us understand what to expect and how things are going to happen, and that's what helps keep us on the right side. So anyway, hope you had a good trading day. I'm going to wrap it up. We'll be back again and do it tomorrow and do Wednesday all over again for me. But I'm done for today. This is Mac with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and we'll see you next time.